Which is a better live event light modifier, the MagMod Sphere or a flash bender? There's only one way to find out. Fight! Do you like that little introduction? Ah, bit of cheese. If you're a live event photographer, say a wedding photographer, or you do charity events and you use speed lights a lot, chances are you're going to want a light modifier. Now, there are several options on the market, but the ones that I've seen people talk about a lot are flash benders and the MagMod Sphere. So I thought I'd do a little comparison face-off to see which one is better value for money and which does a better job. So I thought I'd start off with the flash bender. Now, this isn't the Rogue flash bender, this is just another brand. It's actually called the iShoot flash bender from photoloving.com, and it's very cheap, costing only about £11 off Amazon. Bargain. And I thought I'll just talk about the pros and the cons of using a flash bender. It's very light, it's very thin, so it won't take up much room in your camera bag. Happy days. And once it's attached to your speed light, you can actually bend it. You can see here it's got a couple of metal arms inside, so you can shape it however you like, and you can even turn it into a snoot. Also, this particular flash bender has a little bit of fabric on here that you can actually use as a bit of a softbox, giving you that extra bit of diffused light. But what about the cons? What about the downside of a flash bender like this? Well, it can be a little bit fiddly to attach. You can see if you're trying to do this now with your speed light, you have to strap this bit of plastic around there, put that there, pull that bar there, and that bar there. I mean, it only takes about, see? Another downside I found is that as you're working, this little bit of plastic here comes out quite often and it ends up covering the flash, and you're like, oh, why is it dark? And then you realize that's happening. But really, that's just a minor thing to worry about, and it's easily fixed. Now onto the MagMod Sphere. What's the pros of this bad boy? Now, MagMod makes several different light modifiers, and this one here, the MagMod Sphere, is one of the popular ones for live event photography. First and foremost, I would say it's stickability. Literally, you just pop it on and these things stay attached. This thing here is made of this silicone rubbery kind of stuff, and it is quite small and easy to fit into your bag. Another one of the pros, depending on how you want to look at it, is that this thing fires light in all directions, give you a nice diffused look. Another thing about the MagMod products is that you can take off this sphere and chuck on one of their other attachments. Bing bong. But what about the cons, I hear you ask? What about the downside to these things? Well, the first thing I notice is that you basically have to buy this grip thing first, and that's about £20. That's a separate product to the sphere. The sphere costs about £40. So all in all, you're looking at about 60 quid. Another thing I found is that once it's actually attached to your speed light, it's quite heavy. So if you've got an older model that the head isn't actually very tight, it's quite easily, well, that happens. So it's kind of best just to hold it like this and just bounce it all over the room. Another major concern that a lot of people are bothered about are the fact that it has magnets in it. These are strong magnets. Now, what about your memory cards and hard drives and things like that? Will it wipe them? Well, according to their website, no, it's all quite safe, provided they are solid state. If you have one of the older spinning kind of hard drives, then there's a danger to having this in your bag. Now, I've already mentioned that this thing bounces light in all directions. Now, that could be a good thing for, depending on the kind of photography that you want. You might just want to bounce the light everywhere. But that means it's also quite limited because you can't direct the light, or at least not as much as you can with a flash bender. Now, which one's the winner? Well, price is a big thing, and versatility, and giving you options when you shoot. And for that reason, the winner is, well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's the flash bender. Now, I've done a couple of sample shots to show you exactly how the light is bounced by the MagMod and the flash bender. Both shots were taken with exactly the same settings on the camera and the speed light. The settings were 1/90th shutter speed, 2.8 f-stop, and 200 ISO. And the speed light was set to 80mm and quarter power. So as you can see here, the MagMod shot has got a nice diffused light and a nice even spread across the room. This next shot is taken with a flash bender. As you can see, it's got a higher light output, so you have to dial back your settings in camera to get the right exposure, but that actually ends up saving some battery power. But it does give you harsher shadows. So there we have it. That's my review of the flash bender and the MagMod Sphere. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Happy days.